will say let's get started and want to welcome to the new ATCC webinar presented by Rodolfo Viola. And this webinar title is AI and Ethics. And I am Facundo Navarro, your host and moderator for this session. Thank you for joining us today. Before we start, let me take a moment to introduce ourselves and give a brief overview on who we are and what we do. Our speaker today, Rodolfo, you want to introduce yourself, or should I do it?
Do it.
Okay, I do it. So Rodolfo is a director at Reliable Generation Consulting. He's graduated from the University of Buenos Aires and Chadwick University of Alabama. He has more than 35 years in the career managing in different areas, in different companies, in different countries, like Argentina, USA, Mexico, Brazil, Uruguay, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, and probably more. Rodolfo worked in industries like M&A, consultancy, financial services, retail, oil and gas, healthcare, insurance, pharmaceutical, for IT, pharmaceutical specialized for IT, and operations and financial areas. My name is, as well, I will like to add that Rodolfo is one of our valued members in the Argentina-Texas Chamber of Commerce. And I am Facundo Navarro, as I mentioned before. I'm the president of the Research and Innovation Committee in the chamber, and as well, I'm the responsible for the delivery in Spirosoft for Americas. Saying so, let me introduce you what is the ATCC, the Argentina-Texas Chamber of Commerce. We are an independent and non-profit voluntary membership association that we founded in 2016 already to promote investment, trade, education, and the networking opportunities between not only Texas and Argentina, also the rest of America, but with a lot of focus on Texas in particular because the strengths on oil and gas and energy industry. The chamber is dedicated to build a strong economic bond between Argentina and Texas, not limited to Texas, but as we mentioned before. So finally, I will like to thank our corporate members for their continued support on the chamber, and they are Pan American Energy, that is gold member, Duralite, Globant, and PCR, that are silver members, as well ASA, Marval, O'Farrell Marial, Mayer Brown, ProShale, Q Advance, Capex, and Dell Technologies, that are bronze members. So considering we will we will get started. I will give the word now to Rodolfo to start, but considering this is from Texas, let me kick off saying, all right. Let's begin, Rodolfo, all yours.
Perfect. Thank you, Facundo, for the amazing introduction. Thank you, everyone, for being in this webinar, and thank you, the Argentina-Texas Chamber of Commerce, for this opportunity. Today's webinar, as Facundo said, is AI and ethics. Just let me start with something that is very important for us to understand, that we are in the middle of an evolution. The human being has evolved, and now the IT areas are evolving too. We started just trying to store data, one and zeros, bit by bit, and now they will be just trying to take decisions when we move to that if then else option with the languages, different computing languages. And now we are trying to make that the programming, the systems, our original technology, trying to make decisions, take decisions, and think for us. Where it will end? Well, let the future decide on that. But it's important to understand what is ethics. For academics, it's a field of study It's mixed a little bit with moral and ethics, ethics and moral. That is the way that we are seen from others, on the way that others are looking at us, and how we act and how we react. When we talk about artificial intelligence in these societies, it's really how we should act and what choices we should make. One of the points here is to understand, when we talk about artificial intelligence, there is not a person, a physical person involved in this. But let's take another point of view. This is a term that is used to define guidelines, consideration, and principles. The real situation is trying to create a responsibility to inform the research, the development, and the usage of artificial intelligence, because really is what is the impact that AI has in our daily life. But there is a question behind this, that is something new in ethics. If we go back to 1979, there was a Belmont report that was talking about the framework for ethical research. What are we doing today? We are still researching. So if we just try to make a parallel between that ethical research and AI and ethics, we will find that they were talking about respect. In AI, people should not be forced to use it. They talk about beneficence. Now, people must be secure, well-being, and not discrimination with AI. And they talk about justice. Who gain from this? AI must be considered carefully and justly. So, in this case, if we keep on going, and what issue does AI ethics face? First of all, impacting jobs. We know that we are just feeling that today. Discrimination. There are some privacy concerns, intellectual property uses, and the main question, that the John Connor Skynet question: will AI become dangerously intelligent? Just let's try to start working with the first topic. Just if we take a look at the survey that TechCode did, 47% of business leaders are considering change instead of hires using AI. Every single job will be affected, not everyone, but there are some roles, these are the top 10 roles that will be impacted. Basically, if you take a look at these 10 roles, there are people who is just doing something. Paralegals, copywriters, graphic designers, all this stuff, you can do this today, not tomorrow, today, using AI. So thinking about that, AI has the capacity to actually create more jobs. But what you need to create jobs is just a shift in the way that you work. The employment patterns will change. You will not just key in data. You have to evolve and try to teach the machine how to think. Talking about other facts that happen, talking about privacy, discrimination, intellectual property, I will give you just a couple of samples. For example, there was about 2 years ago, there was a very famous picture of the Pope Francis with that really wide puffer jacket. You know what? That was created. No long time ago, there were some explicit pictures of Taylor Swift that were created by AI. No long ago, there were some fake calls in the States with the voice of President Biden asking for things. And the picture that I'm showing now, that is ex-President Trump running in front of the police. There was another that was last week of President Trump, followed by a lot of people with small signs saying Trump, Trump, Trump. All are fake AI created images. But let me go to something more recent. That was February 22 this year. Google has to stop Gemini because of this creating images with subvert racial and gender stereotypes. And that creates a lot of problems. So we need to think so where we are, where we came from. And let me go back a little bit to the 80s, end of the 70s, and when we start talking about cyberspace at that time, they got always moral and ethical values, the law, norms, and market. That are all that stuff is just creating a boundary around the cyberspace. There are a lot of examples that you cannot do something because of they got rules around the cyberspace. We were talking 5 minutes ago with a couple of friends about, for example, what is considered the R-rated sites. R-rated sites must be marked as R-rated sites. In the case of Texas, the state where I live, if you are not over 18 years old and you are certified that you are over 18 years old, you cannot see R-rated sites. Why? Because in the last almost 40 years, they were creating that boundaries between the law, the moral, the ethics, the norms, and the market. But we have to understand something. AI is brand new. We keep on having that moral ethic values based on social duties and social rights on top. But what about the boundaries that are just trying to content AI? We don't have it yet. So, great question. Who is ruling AI? White House a couple of years ago just released the Bill of Rights for AI. That was a combination of things trying to explain that they need some testing for the pre-deployment, equitative way to do it, talking about data usage, identification, responsibility, user experience. They start talking about how to AI must behave. What about the other side? If we go to the other side, we got the producers. In this case, is Microsoft. Microsoft, they did their own principles of AI. They just divided in two sets, the ethical and explainable. Again, they talk about fairness, transparency, privacy and security, inclusiveness, accountability, reliability and safety. Talk about big concepts, big ideas. And what about the huge worldwide entities? In this case, the United Nations. They did something similar to not harm and protect and promote human rights, purpose, necessity, safety, security. We can see the same words all in this about 10 items that is supposed to be called. If we try to put all together, we will get something that is ethics and AI is broad and important. But what we should have to be ethic, if we're going to call ethic, must be safe, secure, humane, environmentally friendly, and must respect human rights and dignity. If I just take these words in green that we call big words, there is one issue that you cannot measure. You cannot measure how safe is something. You cannot measure how this activity respect the human rights and dignity. There is not 1 and 0. There is no boundaries yet. There are just items that should cover during the development. Based on that, we were talking about AI. We need to enter into the next level. If we just set up that AI today is collecting data from a lot of different sources and is trying to present to you the depending on your context, the most accurate solution or response to the question or the setup that you want. Let me go one step forward. That is Q star. Q star is supposed to be the big evolution for AI. Why? Because it's just trying to cross the frontier of the generative AI. And they supposed to have the possibility to create and to solve mathematical problems, not just to gather data and show us the best solution. It's just to create a mathematical, logical solution. Let me introduce you an example. I will use Pilot, Microsoft AI, that is available for all of us using Microsoft Bing. In this case, I create a mathematical simple case. If I walk 3 miles and drink 2 bottles of water, how many bottles do I need if I have to walk 2,345 miles? I guess that for any of us, this could be something very simple to solve. But let us this to AI. So AI took their time, start researching, creates a very nice, I can say, medical-oriented text. But the solution is just in this small paragraph that says, the answer to your question is that you would need to drink between 8,962 and 10,401 bottles of water. There is a huge explanation about how much water you need to drink a day if you're in activities, researching about Mayo Clinic, Runner's World, blah, 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 whatever you can imagine. What is my solution? What is the solution that any mathematical solution you can get? If you walk 3 miles with 2 bottles, it's 1.5 bottles a mile. For 2,345 miles at 1.5 bottle a mile, you need to drink 1,564 bottles. That's the point that is supposed that Q star is solving this kind of mathematical problems. With that model, that is supposed that we'll start having reasoning skills and cognitive capabilities. This is part of the point that we have to think and we have to discuss when we start with ethic and mathematical. If we cross this barrier and there is a tool that can solve this, we have to talk about tools. All of us do know these 3 elements: an axe, hammer, and an ice pick. All these 3 are tools. All these 3 we use on a daily basis for different activities. But really, these tools could become something that is called lethal weapons. And that is where the human ethics and morale is applied. That is the point that depending on the use, depending on how you manage the tools, need to be that boundary of ethics and morale. So trying to just go ahead and say, but where are we heading? This is part of the context that if we go back to that Bedmont report created in 1979, and we just trying to figure out about ethics. Again, ethics for AI is that people should not be forced to use it. We need to have an individual choice of use it or not. AI must be secure. The well-being and no discrimination must be set up within every single AI process. And last, but I guess that is not least, the question is who gain from AI? That must be considering carefully and justly. We just can read in the last 2 weeks there were a trial between Elon Musk and OpenAI. There were a problem about 6 months ago between Altman and OpenAI. People is just having some concerns about if it is a free tool, if it is not a free tool, how it uses, how people use the tool, what is the use for the result of the tool. As I'm not the philosopher, I'm not the one who have the right answer or the wrong answer. I'm just trying to make an awareness of the use of AI. I would recommend, just as a final part of this, three very important readings. The Weapons of Mass Destruction, that is by Carrie O'Neill. There is a book that you will see, you can focus on the different uses of data models, just not talking only about AI, data models, how they were used effectively to select people to do or not to do things, how governments sometimes select people to be out of the jobs. There is another of this cyber ethics, morality, and law in cyberspace. Again, as I mentioned, cyberspace and ethics, cyberspace, AI, morality, all are joined. This is very important. And the third is an article that is on the web from Anthropic that is when, why, what, and how. And they talk about safety. Safety in this is the concern about ethics, the usage. So that's the presentation. The idea is just to get the awareness. I'm absolutely open to any comment. If you want to ask me question, if you want to get a little bit deeper in any of these points, just let me know. And Facundo, open to the questions, right? You got the mic, Facundo.
Yeah, thank you. Was still mute. Didn't have an AI to unmute my microphone, so still human, still susceptible to errors. So everyone is more than welcome to ask any question in our question Q&A panel there, please. So feel free. In the meantime, I was like hearing you, Rodolfo, got a lot of things in came to my mind. So and for example, you mentioned big words like these words that we are hard to measure, like okay, define secure, like lacking how we can somehow uh, define a smart acceptance criteria on what is secure or what is ethical or what is what you can do and what you cannot do with the AI, how to target that.
Really, it's something that is not so clear because you are talking about boundaries in the uses of data. When you use data, I can say, for example, how old are you? You can say 50. Okay, perfect. What it means, it's just a number. But now I can use that number to create a selection criteria and say, I will not talk with people over 50 or over 49. So when you start using the data that you collected and apply criteria, you are selecting. And I said age, I can say race, I can say religion, I can say a lot of things, or that is worse, combination of all of them.
Yep.
So that's the point where it's very difficult to say who will have the right to rule.
Well, that's related to one question we have in the panel right now. That is, who is the right person or organization to regulate it?
Okay, let me go one step further to that. Today, if we just look to different cultures, 3, 4, 5 different cultures, you can go to North Africa, you can go to Asia, you can go to Europe, you can go to Americas in general, or just perhaps within Americas, different countries. Do you have exactly the same moral and ethics? Do you have the same boundaries for doing something or not to doing something? You get religion concepts. You got, I can say, I don't want to say the word sex, but the
Yeah, can apply.
female. You get today female, male, other different sexual inclinations. What is right and what is wrong? We don't have rules for that. But if you use that attribute for selection criteria, you can harm a lot of people. So it's supposed to be one organization or one entity who can rule this. I guess that is really, really difficult. But at least there is supposed to be some boundaries. So if I know that Mr. John Connor is fighting against Skynet because of, I get that could be avoided. I can say whatever is bad for human life, kill it. I did say virus. Did I say bacteria? No. So if you are bad for me, the machine will kill you. Again, what is the context? When you start talking with the AI machine, you need to be very careful with the context because it creates some hallucinations. It creates wrong answers. If you place the answer for one AI machine, like Pilot, and you move that to ChatGPT and ask, is this right? Perhaps it will say, it's wrong. And contrary sense is exactly the same. We need to be safe in that stand. Is the medicine safe for you? Perhaps it's safe for you, but it's not safe for me. Different context. So that's really a key point that is difficult to set up who is the one who rules.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, that's good. That is a good answer. We got another question, or a couple of questions together. So I will try to to read it, and Rodolfo, you, but let's see how we can answer that. Okay, with AI being instantaneously with the speed of accountability, ever met the same level of production in the realm of AI? Let me read the other ones because they're like all linked together. In other words, will the law be always one step behind, or should companies be expected to produce law clauses that can provide the legal system helpful use as to why they produce what they have produced with the AI?
Again, can we just ask AI to rule themselves?
Mm-hmm.
I
How,
guess
how
that's the
many sci-fi writers have already addressed this topic?
so That's why this is, again, we're trying to set up is the awareness. We are just walking into a gray area where it's not easy to know what is the boundary. Because if the machine can create the law will be created by the machine. If the human create the law, talking about law as a boundary, right? General. If we humans create the law that is a tool could be used as a lethal weapon if it is misused. That's the awareness. That is, be careful with that. We know that we can get nice, effective, instantaneous results from AI. Okay, you got it. You got how many bottles of water should I drink if I walk 2,345 miles? But we need a human being to check, a human being to use a logical decision, final logical decision that create that boundaries. I know when it shows me 8,000, 10,000 bottles that, that's not true. I got in my mind, in the human mind, that is not between my thresholds. This is something that is 2, 3, 4, 5 times bigger than what I expect. Why the machine didn't do that? Because it's not prepared for that. Why it's not prepared for that? Because no humans, create the boundary for the machine or explain how to use that info. They just grab info, create a very fancy report. Mayo Clinic said this, the best for runners is this. And what about the logical situation? What about the human feeling? It's not there. For companies, what can I say is they are just trying to work gathering data from a huge data lake. That's today we can talk about a huge ocean of data. Not all the data that you can grab from there is true. Not all the data that you grab from there is accurate. So always double check, always take a look on what is the AI showing to you, is presenting to you. Not all the information is true. That's the beginning of ethics. Review, test the info.
Great. Okay. Good. So, it is a good tool or is a bad tool?
Amazing, good tool if it is used in the right way. That's my first thought. That's the way that we use it. We use it on a daily basis in my company. But there's always a second check. There's always a human check just to review if that is appropriate for the context in what we use it.
All right. Okay. So, if we don't have any more questions, let's wait one more minute if we're going to get any other question before closing, because it's a very passionate topic and discussing about ethics and which are the boundaries and the limits there. And in the other hand, we're doing amazing stuff with AI in several sense, in different areas, in industries, and in healthcare also in particular, having huge advances there on helping validating and understanding diseases and different patterns. So it will be great. Okay, we have two more questions. So okay, here's one question. If I want to use AI, where do I start?
Just if you use Google or use Bing, you got ChatGPT, is absolutely free. You can use it. OpenAI has some plates that are open. If you use Bing, you got Pilot that is included in the tool. If you use WhatsApp, you got AI included in the tool too. So almost every single now platform is having AI available. For example, if you use for the company uh, communications, dial pad has their own AI for answer. It's not just the old answering machine that they said, hello, you are contacted number. Blah, blah. Now you got an AI. So yes, there are many usage. And if you look, for example, let me tell you, you got the photo editor.ai is for the photos in for free. You got other that is, I can try to remember the names. Gemini, no, Alpha Gemini AI is for writing tests. Apollo AI is for sending emails. If you use Canva for creating images, there is a Canva tool for with AI that creates pictures or videos. Well, that's what I come on my mind.
Or you can ask the AI as well
Yeah, you
to
can
get
say
more
AI. How can I
information.
use
Yeah.
AI? Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. There was also another question. If we you can see the recording later. Yes, I just shared once again the link to the channel. Another question: any tips to protect my privacy?
Today, I guess that there is no option. You are public. If you got Facebook, Instagram, you got a cell phone number. If you are, I don't know where you are, but if you are in the States, for example, and you just complete any kind of offer that you get, man, you are public data. Try to go to Amazon.com, try to look for, I don't know, microphone, and then go into your web mail, and you will start receiving thousands of offers, ads, whatever. You go Facebook and you just look one of the videos of any company that is sponsored, at the day after you will start receiving offers. Today, privacy is, you want to keep home, close your doors, blind your windows, you will be get private. If you
Don't
just walk around, if you just buy things, everybody knows everything. Use your credit card, the banks has all the data, that data is sold. So it's very difficult. Today is
uh,
very difficult.
I don't know how many of you had the experience on, because is, as Rodolfo just mentioned, example, the one where you go and Google for something and then you start seeing publicity of that particular item. That is like daily basis. But the one that is amazing for me has been that predictable ones that you haven't yet Googled it for it, but you want it and you didn't did the research already, and they already bring you, like they can anticipate that you will be looking for a next item. That is like,
That
for me,
is
it's like
that is AI, Facundo. That is AI.
exactly.
Why? Because if you look at, for example, if you look for, I can say, screws, you can look to a piece of wood. If you look for paint, for sure you will receive offers for a drill. Why?
Absolutely.
Because you, for sure, you are planning to create something with screws and wood. What you will need, a screwdriver or a drill. So that's how AI start creating that context situation, and they start thinking for you what you will need in the future. As good as it is, oh, great, I will need a drill, and it helps you to do that. That could exclude you for doing other things.
Mhm.
That's the two ways of AI.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're we're running out of time. Thank you everyone for attending to the webinar. I hope you find useful information, or at least to make you after the webinar keep you thinking about it, what we have discussed. Don't hesitate to contact to ping Rodolfo, or to contact, and as well, you're welcome to contact us for any um, question or help we can provide from the Argentina-Texas Chamber of Commerce. Rodolfo, have a nice day. I think I will see you in a couple of minutes. And to the rest of you, have a nice day, afternoon, night.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.